Hello YouTubers, you join me today on the Sinnis terrain. Yes, I went through a red light. Yeah, Sinnis terrain. Thought I'd do a vlog. I've not done one for quite some time. Just on my way to work. Thought why not, it's a good opportunity. I have found you do have to thrash its bollocks off to get it to move. Okay, you do on 125s anyway, but more so with this. I think the gearing's really low. I've gone up a front tooth at the front, rather, when I can speak fucking English, and it's greatly improved it. I don't have to thrash it as much to get it to move, and I'm not redlining at 60 miles an hour, which is obviously beneficial. I've changed the chain to an O-ring, a rubber O-ring chain, because I found that the stock chain was basically shit. It'd been on the bike about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. It was extremely stretched and going rusty. And people say, "Oh, that's chain maintenance." Yeah, that's true, but I had been oiling it and cleaning it and etc. And it was still wank. So I put a JT chain on it, about 20 quid off eBay. A lot more positive pull on back wheel, you can instantly feel. The stock chain, it felt like a bicycle chain. I shit you not. And if I didn't know better, I'd say it was. You know what I mean, really thin and flimsy and wobbly and shit. It definitely felt like a bicycle chain, not a motorcycle chain. The strange mount you may be able to see on my windshield, that loop, that's not stock. That is an adaptation I made. Sort of copying the GS where they keep their sat nav doodah. I thought I'd copy the same because it's basically a baby GS. Well, they've copied it anyway. So I put a loop there to put my phone and sat nav on it. The handlebar mounted ones, they're okay, but you have to keep looking at the handlebars, obviously, which is not beneficial when you're driving down fucking straight, is it? You want to keep taking the eyes off at fucking road, just to look at a map. There, it's much easier. You can just glance at it. Much nicer. I made it. It is from a Renthal bar adapter. Well, for the for the Renthal pad thing. It's the straight piece. Well, what goes there? You know, the mod kit you can get off Amazon where you just screw it to your handlebars. It's the metal piece out of one of those. I had it on a different bike and it was shit, so I took it off the throat drawer. And that one, I dragged it out, heated it up and bent it into shape and bolted it on. I did have to put some longer bolts through, but it works beautifully, as you can obviously see. So it fucking flies now, this now. Well, not flies, but it's a lot better than it was. Another little trick you can do with these, well, I've already said on my channel, you can, underneath the airbox, there's a metal gridded plate. It serves no purpose, it's just a restrictor. Just take it out. I mean, don't get me wrong, it don't transfer me fucking back into a Starship Enterprise or anything, but it does give it a little bit more pull, and it makes the engine sound a little nicer as well. Unfortunately, they don't do a Toro exhaust for this version yet of bike. This is the Euro 5 water cooled. As soon as they do the Toro exhaust, I'll stick that fucker on it. And obviously can make it sound nicer. And apparently it gives it 3 more horsepower, which I very much believe, because this has got 2 catalytic, like I said in my other video, it's got 2 catalytic converters and fucking that many baffles in it. It's fucking unreal. It's obviously just to get it through the emissions test for Euro 5. But I say fuck Euro 5, suck my balls. I want a bit more power and a bit more welly. I know it's a 125 and it is what it is, there's no escaping that. It's a 125, isn't it? It's no exactly going to be a fucking rocket ship ever. No 125 is. But you know, a bit more peppiness doesn't hurt, does it? Well, like I said, the Airbox mod and the stock power of these is 12.5 horsepower, and if you change take the thing out the Airbox and sort the exhaust out, it takes it up to a 15 horsepower anyway, which is the CBT legal requirement. So you know, 4 horsepower ain't bad. Well, 3.5. Just take it to 15, which is, you know, it's pretty decent really. You can't really, you know what I mean, you can't say you're fairer than that really. And another thing I've noticed about this bike as well, I fixed the odd little issues. I've took the back box off, by the way. I've kept the side panels, or I've took the box off the bike because it kind of gets it way of gearing up bike, you keep kicking it. And secondly, the mounting bracket for it is extremely heavy. Fucking me, is it heavy. So I took it off. I've saved it, like, so, because I put it back on if I wanted to use it for something. But I took it off anyway. And I can always stick it back on, can't I? But anyway, it's really heavy. The thing I was going to say, hang on, let me see what's happening around here. What? I used to scrape pegs them round there. I don't know how I manage that because it's got fucking crash bars on it. See, not being the case, it pulls much nicer up hills going up a tooth, and the Airbox thing does make a difference on hills. You don't have to thrash it as much, and you don't have to gear down as much for hills, because usually you thrash it and it gets to an hill and it just instantly drops. I mean, you still have to change down, of course, but it used to just drop dead instantly. Even if you're in like a third, it'd still die. But it's nowhere near bad now. Acceleration's a bit better. Oh, the thing I was going to say after I've waffled, I got distracted there, is the tyres. They look knobbly and off-roady and look decent, but they're not. They're a bit shit. Every single groove on road, your tyres just follow it instantly. No, but you've driven like on tram lines and things, it's like sort of like that. Every little crevice on road, your fucking tyres just follow it instantly, and it slips and slides about. So, and plus the nylon, which is technically not rubber as such. I've got some, they're no branded ones, they're still Chinese tyres to be fair, off eBay. They are rubber. I'll post a link in the description. They are rubber anyway, and then we can stick them in, can't we? I'll stick them on. They're not knobblies, they're just street tyres. I mean, I have been off-road briefly on this, but despite its rugged off-roady appearance, it's not exactly an off-road bike as such. It's more a styling exercise to make it look nice. But underneath all that, it's just a box to up spec slow down speed cameras. Underneath all that, it is just a normal bike. As far as bikes off bike 125s go, I've got no complaints. It looks pretty nice, to be fair. It looks very nice for a 125. And there isn't any 125 off-roady kind of looking bikes. And when I say off-road, I don't mean literally off-road. That's what I meant to say earlier. It's more a touring, gravelly, green lane sort of bike. It's not a fucking enduro. You know what I mean? Don't think you can go enduro in it. and start jumping and fucking going down massive ruts and crossing rivers and shit. It's not that kind of bike. I have done nearly 600 miles. To be honest, when I first got this, it wasn't nowhere near as powerful as it is now. It was really sluggish and shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still is a little bit, it's 125, but it's definitely tightened up a lot since it's nearly broken in, and it's a bit more responsive. And especially now I've done the Airbox mod, it has made quite a bit. It's made a noticeable difference, shall we say, to the performance. Why am I on a curb? I don't really know. Because I was too busy talking shit and got my line wrong through bend, and ended up being fucking payment like a bell end. Another thing as well, which is kind of cool, it don't really matter what gear you're in. Like for slow speed stuff, I've slowed down to about 20 miles an hour in fifth, and it was fine. Even in sixth, I literally forgot to change down, and I dropped to about 15-20 miles an hour. Didn't phase it at all. I like this road. It's twisty. See, now I'd have to knock down a couple of gears, and it's not. It's pulling fine. I pinned in sixth and doing 50 miles an hour uphill, which is decent. Well, before I did Airbox thing, it was doing about 40. Okay, now it's dropped to 45. Now we'll have to change. But ordinarily, you know what I mean, I have to drop way before then. Yeah, the combination between the Airbox and going up a tooth. Look at that view, by the way. Damn good view. I ain't got time. Between that and the Airbox, the Airbox, sorry, I'm going quiet, I'm concentrating on that road. The Airbox and they're going up a front tooth, going up a tooth at the front rather. It's made a good difference. I can't wait to put the Toro exhaust on when eventually they make it. That's going to make it feel much nicer. The linking brakes, now I've got used to them actually. I know I slagged them off a bit earlier, but I've got used to them now. You just have to be careful about putting back brake on, that's all. Just don't put it on like you normally would with your normal brakes, because if you do that you're leaping for a nasty shock and you'll bint front end. But now I've had this bike, I don't know, about a month and a half or something, I've got used to that. It's not a big deal. You just have to be a bit more careful, a bit tentative on back brake, and don't just jab at it like you normally would. It's about 60-40 on back brake, I believe. 60 up front, 40 up front. or whatever fucking maths are. It's something like that anyway. Basically it does back more than the front, but still, it's not a good thing to be jabbing at. If you were to use this thing for green laning and a bit of off-road work, then I would still disconnect it, because front brake on an off-road bike's never a good idea really, is it? And I think once I've changed these tyres, it'll transform the bike completely. Oh, and that's a good thing. Do you know what I moaned earlier on the other video about being top heavy and wobbly? That's mainly at back box. I took it off, and like I said, it's made a lot of difference to angling. It don't feel nowhere near as top heavy and ponderous. Boys, oh, we got a fucking knot off an alley. What the fuck, man? I can't remember sucking him off. A knot off an alley. That never happens. It's funny because it revs like a 2-stroke, even though it's a 4, and it's got like a, well, I hate to use the term because I'm not going to get blazed off for it, but it's got like a little power band. It's funny, like you'll get beans and nothing will happen for a few seconds, and then it all kicks in at once. It's got like a little baby power band. Don't get me wrong, you don't rip your fucking arms off, but it's definitely there, you can feel it. She likes to pull in 4th and 5th. 6th is more a cruising gear. You don't get no more speed or performance out of 6th. 6th is just basically you can slow right down to fucking next to nothing. And it's safe to keep changing up and down box. For town work and round places like this, a lot of times you can just leave it in 6th and just don't bother changing down. There's not much fucking point. Like I'm in 6th now. I'm doing 20 miles an hour, 16 miles an hour. I'm in 6th gear, let clutch out, fine. No juddering, no. Then I was in 6th gear and dropped down to 10 mile an hour, no problem. No juddering, didn't have to change down or anything. 6th gear, it's like an overdrive. It's magic. Town work, unless you drop under about 9 mile an hour, just leave it in 6th. There's no reason to change. Because the gearing on this is really close together anyway, and you up and down box like fucking Billy-O. But yeah, 6th gear, 10 mile an hour. Try doing that on a fucking different bike. Where are we now? 10th? Oh, I better change down actually. Let me fucking wait, you cunt. I will cut the video short. I don't want you to know where I work. I don't want to be stalked. Unfortunately, if I did get stalked, it wouldn't be now by no fit ladies. Very sadly so, it would be fat ranted ones and gay men. Because, unfortunately, that's the kind of people motorbikes pull. It's funny, young lads at motorbikes to think, oh, ladies will be attracted to me. No, they won't. Ladies don't care about motorbikes, it's lightest bit. Unless they have a different persuasion, shall we say, politely put. But straight ladies, forget it. You're never going to pull a lady. But yeah, you got bike, so what? Yep, you'll pull fat ugly women. You probably get ladies of the different persuasion speaking to you, but certainly not in a dating way. And gay men, they're the only thing you'll pull on a motorbike, mate, trust me. Anyway, summary, I know slag this bike off, but I do quite like it. It looks great, it pulls nice, and I've done a few adaptations. The Toro exhaust is out in about 5 months as far as I can figure out, something like that. Maybe a bit sooner, as soon as I've done that. Should be perfect. Change tyres. I'll have no complaints whatsoever with it, really. It's more than sufficient. Anyway, that's it. I'll let you go. have fun. So like, subscribe and all that good stuff. See you later, boys.